6 workers were killed on October 29, 2011 in a grain dust explosion at the Bartlett Grain elevator in Atchison, Kansas. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, says the deaths could have been prevented. OSHA proposed 5 willful and 8 serious workplace safety violations and $406,000 in fines. OSHA has also asked the U.S. Attorney in Kansas to investigate whether the Kansas City-based Bartlett Grain Company or its officials should be held criminally liable for the 6 deaths at the company's elevator in Atchison. Bartlett has appealed and said that OSHA's findings were flawed. Bob Neef, Bartlett's president, said the company plans to prove wrong OSHA's unfortunate citations and characterization. While that investigation proceeds, however, appeals from Bartlett and other OSHA actions are on hold. Zoe Bock lost her son, and Kevin, his stepson, 20-year-old Chad Roberts, in the elevator explosion. Now, nearly 18 months later, closure and justice for Zoe and Kevin still seems far away.
How long does it take to file charges? It seems like they're kind of dragging things out too. But, 6 months, OSHA's got it for 6 months. Then there's citations, then there's roughly 6 months goes by and nothing. And then all of a sudden now it's with the U.S. Attorney's Office and he's telling me 6 months. Well, we're almost, we're coming up on a year and a half real quick.
Kevin and his wife want one thing.
I want criminal charges pressed against Bartlett. And in the end run, if that somebody goes to jail, somebody needs to go to jail. I'll pressure as much as I can. I want to see Bartlett, I want to see the charges brought against him, and I'd love to see him convicted. And that's where my ultimate goal is, period. Mine and my wife, that's what it's about.
Criminal charges may be difficult to get. The Bartlett explosion has eerie similarities to a 1998 explosion at a DeBruce grain elevator near Wichita. OSHA also asked for criminal penalties in that blast, which killed 7 workers, but the U.S. Attorney at the time declined to prosecute. While safer facilities and revamped regulations resulted in fewer grain dust explosions, dropping from an average of 21 a year in the late 1970s to just over 1 a year since 1990, the grain handling industry remains deadly. Chad had worked at the elevator for only a short time when the explosion took his life. His mother said he worked long hours at the elevator and was called in to help load grain into railroad cars on his day off, the day of the explosion.
He only worked there for 58 days, and he seemed to enjoy it. But I know he worked really long hours and stuff, but that wears on you. But when you're 20, you can work like that, so he seemed to like it.
In August of 2012, wrongful death lawsuits from the families of 4 of the 6 workers killed were filed, with allegations that in its quest for higher profits, Bartlett ignored federal grain dust regulations, failed to perform regular maintenance, and continued to operate the elevator at capacity despite known problems. Whatever the outcome, for the Bock family, they hope that companies are put on notice that they need to protect their workers.
Down the road, I want companies to take notice that, the killing has to stop,
They need to fix it so it doesn't happen again. I mean, I understand it hasn't happened for a long time, but if it's happened to one company, it's going to keep happening more and more again until they get it right. And they've really got to start with the safety and stay on top of it.
Reporting for the Kansas City Star, this is Todd Feeback and Mike McGraw, along with Jeremy Bernfeld of Harvest Public Media.